Hello friends, welcome back to JavaScript tutorial. We are discussing about JavaScript topic wise. Last time we discussed about JavaScript object. In this video we are going to discuss about the looping concept, right? So in JavaScript there are loops, means there are for loops, for if, for in, while, do while, for each. So there are mainly 4 types of loops, but there is 6 type of loops, right? So we will discuss step by step. So in this video we are going to discuss about only for loop. So why we need actually the loop? Suppose in a school there are hundreds of students. So I want to display list. I already discussed array and object. If I going to fetch all the record from the database, I will get a total hundreds of students record in a array. Now my purpose of these things is I want to print all those things into a list, right? So I will get a common variable which is array type variable, and I will print all the things with the use of loop. Actually loops are used to execute a block of code repeatedly until a certain condition, right? So if I just check the loop structure, so if you just write the for loop structure, so first of all the thing is the first parameter is init, means the keyword is for, and there is a first bracket, and this is the curly braces. So actually this is the loop block, or you can write all the loop related logic inside here. And there is first we need initialization, means from where we need to start the loop. Again the next part is the condition up to which the loop will execute, or what is the condition to execute the loop, and some increment or decrement, means suppose if I just are going to move from 1 to 10, so we will increment our loop execution step by step. Otherwise if I just going to go back, means from 10 to 1, I will decrement the operator, right? It will be understandable if I write any real life program, right? Suppose I want to print a number from 0 to 5 or 0 to something, means suppose let's use var I is the variable. I am initializing var I equal to 0. Now I want to print I until it's less than 5. Okay, means I want to print 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. When the I became 5, then the code execute will stop. And how to go from 0 to 5? So I need to increment. So I will increment I plus plus. All the things we already knew, means I already discussed about the operator, and we know the I plus plus means, right? Actually it will increment the number by 1. Okay, and now I just going to print console.log, and here I just printing I. Okay, and just refresh this. So here actually we are getting 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So here my condition is it will print from 0 to 4, means it is less than 5. I always less than 5. So if I going to print up to 5, then you can write this. So it will print 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you want to print up to 10, so you will write 0 to 10. Okay, and you can change this initialization also, so you don't need 0, you can print from the 1 also. So refresh this, you will get from 1 to 10, means initializing I equal to 1, and I am adding condition, that is I will execute until the value of I is 10. Okay, so this is the loop concept. So now what I actually discussing, if I want to print hundreds of record, so the record will be always the same kind of things. I will not write this code repeatedly, and just like console log student1, console log student2, console log student3, I will just write in this way. Suppose if I just want to print student1, student2, simply here just write student, and we know the template literal, so simply just use these things and it will become dynamic. Means here if you refresh this, you will get student1, student2, student3. So in this way you can print whatever you want dynamically and with a simple code using the for loop. Okay, now if I just going to do the same things with the help of array. Suppose all the records we have inside the array, so I just write here let student array, and here I have some name. Okay, so suppose there is name John, and there is David, and there is some another name, suppose Mark, and just write Rick, right? So in this way there may have a numbers of record, hundreds of record, right? So I will just write in this way for I equal to 0. So let's use var. By default actually it will treat as a var, still I am declaring it as a var, and you know the value of John. So if you want to print the value of John, simply you can write console.log and the array name and the position, that is 0. So if you refresh, you will get John. In this way if you refresh, you will know the David will print. Okay, so I just commenting out these things, and I just going to print all the name using loops. So var I equal to 0, and I want to print this name until the loop will complete, until the array have a value. So I will be the length of the student, so simply write student dot length. So we know that student dot length means it will print the array length. So if you console that student dot length, you can understand 1 2 3 4, so length will be the 4. So I will execute the loop from 0 to 3. So when it will become 4, it will stop. Okay, so now just write I plus plus. Okay, now I just want to print this thing. Okay, so if I just print only 1, then it will print David. If I just write here 2, then it will print Mark, but here I will get 0 to 4, means here simply I will just write I and just refresh, you will get all the name. We don't need to write separately for each student. Using the loop we will get all the things. Clear? Now there is some tricks. You can initiate multiple things in your initialization part, right? So how you can do this? Simply I can write here let I and len. Okay, so len actually student dot len. Now you can write here in this way, I equal to 0 and len equal to student dot length, and you can write condition in this way, I len, right? So this is the first part, this is the second part, and this is the third part. For loop always have 3 parts by separating with semicolons, right? Now if I just write this, still it will work. Identifier I has already been declared. Actually I declared this let I, so we don't need to write var I again. Actually I already declared with the let. So refresh this, you will get the John, David, Mark, Rick, right? So in first condition means first initialization part, I initialize both things. Now the thing is, without initializing still it will work, right? So in this way, suppose I just going to write here I equal to 0, and then I am just initialing length equal to student dot length. So simply write here student dot length. So already we are getting these things, so we don't need to write anything, but we need to use the semicolon so that for loop can understand there is 3 part. Okay, So this is the first part, this is the second part, and this is the third part. Still if you run, it will work, right? So it's working. So I just refreshing this, it will working. But make sure condition always be available, because if the condition is false, or if I not write the proper condition, means if something I written which is not which will not appear when you just going to write a for loop, then it will go to the infinitive loop, means it will continuing to print all the things, and that time your browser may crash. So it will not much complex things, you can understand when you practice it. It depends on your practice. Now the thing is, without the third parameter we can run for loop. So simply I just going to write this. So in this way, if I just refresh this, my browser will crash, because always I is 0 and I am checking these things and loop will execute. So it will never ending process. So here I just writing this logic. Now if I just print, so it will print the same things, means inside the for loop I just incrementing the value of I. Great. So this is all about the for loop, and this some for loop tricks. So still if you have any queries about the for loop, please ask me in a below comment section. Next day we are going to discuss about another for loop concept. This is the for in loop. This is the another looping concept, this is the for in loop. So please like and subscribe this channel for upcoming video. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day. Bye.